Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to this Tower Tuesday, another beautiful Tower Tuesday in the Little Reader's house. It's amazing how quickly the weeks just change and happen and move. We're coming up on my favorite month of the year, which is December, which also happens to be my birthday year. Birthday month. Every year is my birthday year. So I'm extremely excited, as you can imagine. And as a result, I'm excited to announce that we are going to be doing $20 private readings on buymeacoffee.com. So there's a link down below. If you want to gift yourself or someone you love a private reading with me, I will record a up to 20-minute personal reading session answering any question for you for the low price of $20, darling. It's kind of a birthday gift to myself because I love to do them so much. But it can be a Christmas gift if you celebrate Christmas or any of the other winter holidays. I would love to see you there. So look what keeps coming up over and over again as we shuffle in using the glorious Kim Krantz Alchemy deck to find out what Spirit is ushering out this week on Tower Tuesday, what it is breaking down, digesting, for some reason I want to say regurgitating on this glorious Tower Tuesday, and what it is ushering in. And we're doing a two-part version of this week, so I'll show you what that's all about in just a second. But we're shuffling it up and we're saying, Spirit, for the beautiful soul who's watching in this collective reading, who found their way here through the magic of the internet and life, the living algorithm, which I like to think of is kind of emblematic of the universe itself. What are you removing? What are you breaking down and repurposing? And what are you bringing in for them this week? Okay. We're getting closer. We are getting closer. Yes. We have resin. So resin is what's being broken down this week. Resin. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. And what is coming in, Spirit? What is coming in this week for the beautiful soul who's watching? Lead. How interesting. What an interesting combination. So now in order to get a little bit more clarity, as well as do our second part of this piece, we're going to switch to another Kim Krantz deck, which I'm a huge fan of, which is the Pocket Animal deck. Ooh, we already have the black egg popping out, but we're going to put it back in and see what comes up peaceably. And this is the way we're asking this question. Spirit, who or what aspect of the beautiful soul watching are you drawing out of their life or collapsing on this Tower Tuesday? And what aspect of them are you building up and accentuating and strengthening? So in other words, what aspect of yourself, beautiful soul, is being crumbled, synthesized, alchemized, and changed? And what is taking its place? So Spirit, show us first what is being removed, what is crumbling. It is, the snake. Interesting. And what is taking its place? What is being built up strongly? We're not peeking. What is being built up strongly? The owl. And the owl came out in reverse, but I believe that was my mistake, so I'm putting it upright. We are not intending to read reversals for this segment of the reading. So check this out. Let's break this down in the most beautiful, effortless fashion. So with resin is all about things being trapped and being able to be seen but not touched. So when something is trapped in resin, we can pretty much guarantee that you can see it. It's probably old if you think about bugs, leaves, artifacts that have been found in resin. And it's something that's never going to change. It's stagnant. And the interesting thing is here on this card, we can see surrounding the resin, we have all this movement, all these ripples. It could either be like the rings of a tree trunk, or you could think of it like dropping a rock into a pond. But inside of that resin, immovement. What was I going to say there? Immobility? Immoving, just stagnation. Stagnation is a great way to say this. And what have they put there? It looks like a flower. Could be a carnation. If you look really closely, that looks like that could be a carnation there. So in this, Spirit is saying we're moving away from stagnation, and we're moving away from things that you can see but you can't touch. So what Spirit could very well be crumbling down this Tower Tuesday is a dream. That's the first thing that's coming to me, and it kind of builds on last week's energies a little bit. It could be a dream, it could be a desire, but not one full of life, one that has been crystallized and almost encrusted and almost stuck for a long duration of time. So whatever's coming to your mind first, if that is a goal but something that you didn't feel yourself putting movement and effort toward, if it was a vision or a desire, something that I'm seeing a vision board where people pin lots of different things on it, but it doesn't, this dream doesn't have the quality of something that you're actively putting effort toward. Now, the interesting thing about this is what Spirit is replacing the energy of resin with is lead, which is a far heavier substance, but completely not see-through. The lead, actually, let me give you a moment to explore that a little bit more, because there's this beautiful, almost purple lavender color to it, which speaks to a theme that I'm already sensing about spirituality here. This lead is all about being constant, being present, being heavy with something. So in other words, when lead shows up alchemically in a reading, it means that there is strong presence, there is strong effort, there is strong constancy. So the difference between resin and lead is that whereas resin, you can see the goal, you can never touch it. It's something that is, you are separated from it. It is suspended, it is moving, it is not growing, it is not changing. With lead can change. It has its own alchemical processes and components, and it is very constant. So it's not something to look at. It's not like your dream is being replaced necessarily with a new dream. It's like your dream is being replaced with you. And that is very much on par with building on last week's Tower Tuesday. The idea that withdrawing energy away from things that cannot be controlled, that can only be looked at from a distance, and instead showing up for yourself. This lead energy is here to say, I am the constant. I am the one. I am here. I am present. With the snake, particularly with the snake eating its own tail, that reminds me of the Ouroboros. And the Ouroboros can refer to cycles, and it can refer to things that happen over and over and over again. This, combined with the resin, also circular, if you'll notice, 2 circles, is telling me that Spirit is releasing you from a cycle that has repeated over and over and over again. And this cycle is something that you'll know it when you understand that you don't have control over making it happen. It's something that you've been able to view. It's something that you've been able to desire, but it's not something that you've been able to control or acquire through your own means. So the cycle that repeatedly kept happening was letting it go, forgetting about it, then getting stirred back up, wanting it again. Stirring is especially relevant here. When I look at this resin card, I see a witch over a cauldron, stirring and stirring and stirring and like kind of cackling, like, But the thing is, in this instance, beautiful soul, we haven't been stirring a potion that we can consume. We have been stirring something for the sake of stirring it. And that is what Spirit's crumbling, saying, okay, we're not stirring that potion anymore. We're turning into lead. Now the cauldron could even be made of lead. When you think of a witch with a cauldron, maybe she has like a lead, thick metal cauldron that she cooks up her stews and potions in. But in this instance, the lead, the container, the solidity, that's what we're returning to. With the owl, we have the element of air here. And the owl is all about seeing, watching, and witnessing in quiet wisdom. Now, interestingly, the lead is not having any movement. And this owl doesn't have any movement either. The owl is just looking on, patiently witnessing. So what Spirit is bringing in this week is this quality of stoic witnessing, to take a look back at reality and say, okay, this is where I am. This is what I'm dealing with. I have stirred and looked at something that's been trapped and out of my reach for a long time. We're letting that one go. We're crumbling that one off. And we're coming back to a standstill where we take a pause, a sacred, holy pause, and we look on with our big, wise owl eyes. Big, wise owl eyes. That rhymes. And we decide what we're going to do next. But the sacred pause is what Spirit is bringing in here. So crumbling unnecessary movement, crumbling a circular pattern or a habit. Now, it doesn't have to be a dream. That's not going to be for everyone. You may say, dreams? Little reader, I don't have any dreams right now. And I completely understand. We all go through every phase and every stage of inspiration and non-inspiration. But in this instance, think of any area in your life where you've been chasing your own tail. Any area where you've been glancing at the clock, because another thing I always see in circular symbols is a clock. Any area where you have been trying to cyclically make something happen, any old cycle. Now, this cycle could also be interpersonal, in a relationship with a person. This cycle could be having to do with an argument that keeps arising, or conflict we keep bumping up against, or enabling certain behaviors in individuals with the full knowledge that by letting it slide, it is going to restart a cycle, another cycle. And Spirit is crumbling the cycles this week. So how are you doing it, Spirit? We're using what are we using? The before or the after tarot? The after tarot. Okay. We used the before tarot last week, which was amazing version of the Rider-Waite tarot, just one moment before everything happens. This week, I figured we'd use the after tarot to see what not only the aftermath of last week's energies were, but to see what the after effects of this crumbling are going to be right before us. So Spirit, how are you bringing everything to crumble and why? And then we'll see what the blessing that comes out of the crumbling is. So how and why are you bringing everything to a crumble, Spirit? Please show us how and why are you bringing everything to a crumbling to the beautiful soul that's watching? Why is this cycle coming to an end? Why aren't they to be chasing their tail anymore after this? How and why are you doing it? We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Sun in reverse. We have Death upright. Whoop. And we have the Page of Pentacles upright. Now, clarifiers, please, Spirit. Clarifying that Knight of Pentacles. We have the Three of Cups upright. Clarifying that Sun. We have the King of Cups in reverse. Clarifying the Death card. The Seven of Wands upright. And clarifying the Page of Pentacles. We have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And then BOD, back of the deck energy, is the World. And we have the Lovers back of that deck energy, which I always peek at just to see if there's any little fizzly spark that's made its way into the reading, and I believe there is. Now, I'm going to show you this World card. I'm going to go through every single card, but we're going to be doing a better job of hiding nudity today. I promise. Just for anyone who was wondering. Because I start thinking to myself that somehow I always pick the decks with nudity, and then somehow I always forget that it's there. So more cognizant of that this week. Starting with the Knight of Pentacles and the Three of Cups in reverse. The first thing that Spirit's saying is the reason why, or one of the reasons why, is because there has been so much waiting, so much stagnancy in this situation, and it has been, for you, kind of like suffering. The Knight of Pentacles, if it were upright, would tell me about patience that, especially in the after tarot, comes to fruition because look, he gets his disc. But in the reverse, it tells me that the situation, having been on pause for so long, is causing this deficit of lighthearted, fun energy. Now with the Three of Cups here, it is putting some kind of, I want to say impingement. So maybe you have like a shoulder impingement, or maybe there's been an injury here, but quite literally an energetic impingement on being able to relax, being able to have fun. It's like you've told yourself, until this cycle is over, until I make it through this merry-go-round once again with this person, place, or thing, I can't relax, I can't have fun, like I can't live in a way. I've been on pause. I can't flirt, I can't go out, I can't be free, I can't speak my truth is something I'm hearing, or speak freely. It's almost like you've been hushed additionally in this cycle. And Spirit says, no more of that. To drive it home further, we have the exact same message reiterated with more force. We have the Sun in reverse. The Sun is every dream coming true. Wait a second. I said I would do better here. Okay. Looks like this nudity is covered strategically in the card. But in this after tarot, 2 kids, they're off the horse and now they're goofing around and having a good time, just like we see in this Three of Cups. Having a good time, partying, except these are adults with drinks, go figure. And these are kids, naked kids, which we love, ripping this flag down. And interestingly, the red always makes me think of not just victory, but vitality, of root chakra, of this very much not primal, but foundational energy of following your instincts and following your impulses. And Spirit is saying this situation, the reason it has to crumble, the reason that this cycle needs to come to an end, is because it is causing you to forsake, is a good way of saying it, your natural impulses, forsake your desire to party and have fun. I'm also hearing that for some during the holiday season, this could be the cycle that's being addressed is like a fitness and diet cycle where maybe you're being hard on yourself and it's actually preventing the literal enjoyment of drink and food and physical pleasures. And this cycle falls into our resin category because the objective, first of all, it has to have been a cycle that's repeated before. So look to see, like, have I ever been on a diet around the holidays before? Have I ever been trying to make something happen at a time when it's particularly difficult? Being on a diet and doing fitness during the holidays, especially if it's new, is a very difficult challenge because this is the time of pleasures, of family gatherings, of food, drink, and eating. So Spirit's saying that applies for some of you. And it's actually, while the idea of fitness and diet is never to be diminished, there's so much wealth and so many benefits there. If it's being done in this cyclical way, kind of to provide peace of mind, but it's not in line with the body's actual desires and needs, it can be causing suffering. And we see that with the King of Cups in reverse, emotional suffering in particular. It can also be preventing emotional connection somehow. If it's not diet and fitness, there are so many other possibilities for this cycle, and you know personally for your own life what it is I'm referring to. Don't let that be a snag if it doesn't apply. But here with the King of Cups, whatever it is that is being denied, it's certainly some kind of pleasure. It's certainly something that brings upliftment and satisfaction, and I'm hearing pleasure to the tongue, is actually creating physical deprivation, pain to the body. Here with the Death card, so we've got the why, now we're getting into the how. Spirit is saying, well, the way I'm causing this to fall apart is quite simple. We're killing it. It is transformation, and I don't mean literal death if there's another person involved in this. The death is a transformation, and this Death card is particularly rough. If we look here, it's a little bit more bleak than the Rider-Waite deck, as we see someone's actually crying, and we've got the fallout down below. So what you can expect to see with the crumbling of this situation is it may be another person involved or other people, depending on if this particular situation relates and includes multiple people or not, is riding in to say something like, this cannot stand, I don't like seeing you like this, I don't like what you're doing, now is not the time for this. And this conflict, which we see in this Seven of Wands. Now, originally the Seven of Wands is, I'm trying to think of the original Rider-Waite in imagery. I've been playing with the before and after tarot so long that now I can't even remember what is going on in the original Seven of Wands. Preparing for a battle? A battle? In any case, here the battle has begun, and this individual is flying in, literally airborne. You see that? Kind of like Fiona in the first Shrek, when she shows Shrek that she has some serious martial arts training and is like flying through the air, and they do a freeze frame 360 shot. That's exactly what's going on here. Someone, and I'm being told that it's an external person to you, but in the exceptions, because there may be a couple where that doesn't happen, it's going to be something inside of you that says, no more. This is not happening anymore. Like, I'm not going to permit this cycle to continue. So either a third party or someone on the outside of your physical body who is relevant to the scene, who is in the purview and sees what's going on, swoops in and says, absolutely not, this is not going to stand. Or you yourself say it to yourself, like, I'm not doing this anymore. Spirit wants you to be able to receive, to give the gift to yourself. Here we see the traditional Page of Pentacles, who's usually alone, is actually giving the gift of this disc to a gnome, an earth creature. So I very much am getting the sense that this has to do with your body or something physical and material, especially with lead here. Lead is a very solid, tangible alchemical creation, alchemical source, material rather. So it's something tangible, it's something physical, it's something that Spirit really wants you to give to yourself. Really give to yourself, because here when we started out with the Knight of Pentacles reversed, the reason why Spirit is making this thing collapse and crumble is because it's preventing you from receiving some long-awaited kind of prize or some long-awaited kind of validation or love or material thing like money, a gift. And then finally with the Wheel of Fortune, two messages here. With the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, once again, a circular, which looks very much like the resin that Spirit is ushering out. Two messages here. At first, this may look like a turn of bad luck. Please do not fear. It is not a turn of bad luck. It is a turn of great luck, in fact. Sometimes when we see subtraction happen in our life, whether that's a person, place, or thing, or an emotion, or a dream, or a hope, we're like, what did I do? Why am I being punished? So first message here is to say that from Spirit, you are not being punished at all. In fact, this is a sort of reward. You've done your part. You played your role in the cycle. The snake and the Ouroboros both have beautiful spiritual connotations. So you've learned the lesson that you needed to learn here. But it's time for this to be over, which is what we see with, and I'm going to do a great job at hiding this nudity with my finger, which is what we see in the World card. In the World card, all of the elements are here. Fire, earth, water, air, represented in the suits of tarot. It's just time for this cycle to end. The world is all about cycles, and it's time for this one to end. You've done a great job. So that first message with the Wheel of Fortune is you may think this is not a blessing. You might be like, wait a second, this is being subtracted from me. That's not the way I wanted this to go. No, it is actually perfect. It's exactly the way it needs to go. The second message is by not having given yourself whatever this cycle has prevented you from, whether that's the pleasures of eating and drinking guilt-free and trusting yourself, or whether that is physical pleasures in a form of physical intimacy, or whether it's money and finance, or whether it's a gift, whether it's validation or a conversation or just peace of mind. This not being given to you for so long has prevented you, and I say so long because of our King of Pentacles, prevented you from having your luck turn. So now by ending this cycle and removing this situation and crumbling this down, your luck is turning in a glorious way. So your second message here is not only is this not a sign of bad luck, it's a sign of good luck. By removing this, you become more attractive to good turns of the wheel. When I say good turns of the wheel's turning always. But when it turns henceforth, it is in your favor. It is in your favor, and that's a big, big deal. Beautiful. So Spirit, quick peeky, please, at what blessings are coming from this. Are we going to use this deck again? We might, so I'll clear it out. Just talking out loud to myself. So how are you doing, beautiful soul? Tell me, how are you? How is your holiday season kicking off so far? What's on your heart? What's on your mind? What situation does this apply to? If you want to share, comments always make the readings come alive. I go back and read the comments and I get so excited to hear that things resonate, or to hear that something has been learned, or there's been an aha moment, or even just to hear that you like the sound of my voice and we're keeping each other company. Because in the little reader's house, it's really, really nice to have the company. I love having you here. So if you love being here, I want to know about it. And I want to know how you are, so I could send you a little bit of love. With this, we're asking Spirit, what are the blessings? What are the blessings that come from this collapse? I wanted to say that in an accent. Collapse. Almost cartoony, very Disney. It's like however the situation unfolds may actually be fun or funny or cartoony to witness. Like it might make you crack up. If it ends up being a conversation, or maybe one that you even thought was going to have a little bit of tension, you may be surprised by just how funny this situation unfolds. And now that you already know that this thing is meant to crumble, when that third party, or when that conversation happens, or when that moment of collision where you and this situation go face to face occur, you can be prepared to accept it with ease and with this levity, with a lighthearted attitude, which is really going to take the wind out of the sails, really going to make this an easy transition. Especially with lead here, I don't see disruption. I actually see an enormous amount of grounding and peace and stability and settling and constancy, especially with that owl. Like, oh, sigh of relief. Things have been returned to normal, and now I can see clearly. I can see clearly. Yep, I knew it. I knew you and I were both going to go there now that the rain is gone. So Spirit, what is the blessing that comes from the collapse of this situation? Okay, I'll show you each of these. Step out of your comfort zone is coming out. You are good enough is coming out. Glorious. And conclusions are within reach. Ah, that came up last week. Wouldn't you know it? And nothing is yet set in stone. Mutable moon. Oh, and I love that with the lead here. Okay, so I'll show you the back of the deck energy. Nothing is yet set in stone. So you can see that nice and clearly. Let's see if that comes clear. Nothing is yet set in stone. Mutable moon. Nothing is yet set in stone. That's back of the deck energy. Followed by step out of your comfort zone. Woo. Is this coming clear? I sure hope so. Step out of your comfort zone. That's North Node. All about purpose here. You are good enough. That's full moon in Virgo. You are good enough. Yes, you absolutely are. Has anyone told you how worthy of love you are, by the way? And how you deserve more, always more, and never less? You are good enough. Always have been. And then conclusions are within reach. Again, full moon eclipse. So for some, this may even be a continuation of last week's Tower Tuesday as a cycle. If you were involved in a cycle related to that situation, because last week we were talking about a situation that just keeps kind of resurfacing and, forgive my language, but being a pain in your ass. If there was a cycle involved in that, this may be a carrying on of that energy. But a couple of things here. With lead, we have that constancy, that energy, but the constancy comes from you. With nothing is yet set in stone, particularly when we started out talking about dreams. Remember how I said in this resin, the first word that Spirit gave me was dreams, like someone's dreams are at play here. your dreams may change. Your dreams may shift, Spirit says. You may find yourself dreaming a new dream, like Rapunzel in Tangled. I think she and Eugene say to one another, "You were my new dream." You may find yourself dreaming a new dream. But what's constant, what never changes in this universe is your worthiness. That is the lead. That is what is forever. That is what is immovable. That is the wisdom of life, is that your worth and your value and the fact that your form will always be with you and your destiny, it doesn't matter what the specific dreams are. What matters is that you'll be alive to live them, and you'll be healthy to live them, and you'll be present to live them. That is the constant. So with nothing as yet set in stone, Spirit is saying, accept that the circumstances will always change, but something that remains constant is you, is the value of you, is the wisdom of you, is the self-care, the care and keeping of you, if you will, and your own knowledge and experience. And we see that reiterated here. With step out of your comfort zone and North Node. North Node is known, I believe, astrologically, to be associated with your destiny, where you're going, where your spirit is growing, what you're up to, how you're expanding. So Spirit really wants you to step out of the comfort zone of this cycle because it became comfortable. That's why it got locked in resonant. That's why it keeps repeating and repeating. We're breaking that. We're stepping out of that on the basis of your worthiness, because you're good enough, because it doesn't require any kind of suffering for you to become worthy of love. Ooh, and I believe that came through last week as well. Suffering is not required to become worthy of love, because you, my beautiful soul, already are worthy of love. So instead, the decisions you make henceforth from this moment on, and I can't help but notice similar colorings here and here, the decisions that you make henceforth are coming from this place of love. After this cycle collapses, Spirit is really saying, I'd like you to step into your own worth, and then you're going to feel it. With this full moon in Virgo, you are going to feel it. With conclusions within reach, once again, the end of another cycle. And because these Tower Tuesdays are new, a new introduction to the Little Reader channel, we may be seeing this card come up a lot, because I'm realizing now that the structure of the reading is what is crumbling and what is taking its place. And in that context, there's always going to be a conclusion, isn't there? Because we're constantly going through cycles in our lives. So the end of this cycle finally brings closure. You decide a new way to do something. You give up whatever pattern was occurring and you replace it with something new. And just to get a little bit more, because I want to know, you want to know, we want to know. Wow. Tell us, Spirit, what are some specific blessings that come from this shift? Specific things that the beautiful soul watching is going to see. What specific conclusions can they expect to witness, receive, and enjoy? Specific blessings, Spirit. Oh, of course, the Ten of Cups. I absolutely love that. You can't get any better than that, really. The Page of Wands in reverse. Oh, I love this. You've got the Eight of Swords in reverse, and you've got the Hanged Man. Okay. And the Empress. Wow. Okay. So this Empress is a little bit different. She's holding something up. I believe it's supposed to be a wand, or not a wand, but like a scepter, perhaps? Scepter? But to me, it looks like a light bulb. So I think of this as an aha moment and a realization, like a breakthrough, an epiphany, a change. With nothing as yet set in stone and this light bulb epiphany, it's like, I can make my life whatever I want. I can be whoever I want to be. It's not too late to dream a new dream. It's not too late to fulfill my true destiny. It's not too late is what's coming up here, is that realization. As one cycle closes, what happens? A new one begins. And what you're realizing is it can be whatever you want it to be. With the Ten of Cups here, in this Ten of Cups, the night has come and this family is together. There's celebration. A specific blessing that's coming out of this is you really being able to enjoy gatherings. You really being at peace with being surrounded by people, maybe even people with whom there were conflict before. Maybe around the holidays you have some differences of opinion and sensation and ideas with people in your life, and those are falling away because of your decision to break a cycle. With the Page of Wands in reverse, instead of walking away from someone or something, which is depicted here on this card, which is how we would read it if it were upright, this Page of Wands is leaving somebody behind, but this time you're walking toward, if you look at this here, you are walking toward the happiness, towards the family. And because you're upside down, I'm hearing that you might be moonwalking. You might be walking with style, walking with some pep in your step. Here we see the end of this Eight of Swords. Not only is it depicted in the card, this gentleman comes to cut away the ropes that have been binding this character for so long. My goodness. Think of the thousands and millions of readings that have been done with the Rider-Waite deck. When I see this card, I feel so much relief because that character who's always trapped in the swords with a blindfold on is finally being set free here. And that you have that in reverse, and that it is a blessing that we asked for. It means setting you free from your own bondage, the bondage of this cycle, the bondage of beliefs, the bondage that, and I'm hearing it again real loud, thank you, Spirit, that you needed to do something to be worthy of something. And you're not going to think that after this week. You're going to know, I'm good enough, and that's just the way it is. And in any area of your life where you have felt stuck and you have felt like you were powerless and you were just waiting, and maybe you made peace with it because you're an amazing person and because you have integrity and you're mature and you're kind, you made peace with it and you were like, oh, I'll just wait here. But now real relief is coming. And whether that is you giving it to yourself, interesting though, I don't think it is. I think, look at this. In both cases, there's a person. There are people coming to help. Look at that. In both cases, there are people coming to help. You may get, and we talked about that a little while ago, you might get a third party coming in here and saying, I'm going to help you out. I'm just not standing for this anymore. I'm going to help you break this cycle. And bam, it's broken. And in the end, we have you sitting in your power with a brand new idea, ready to go forth, darling, and do amazing things and just be amazing because you are amazing. And that's just a fact. So that is where we are leaving it today, beautiful soul. It has been such an honor to join you for another Tower Tuesday. It is my favorite thing to bask in your energies. I hope to see you at buymeacoffee.com where we can chitty chat about your personal life through a private reading. But if I don't, that's completely okay because we'll keep communing if we can through this medium. I am sending you all the love I've got and more and more and more always. Until next week, beautiful soul. Bye for now. Mwah.